Whether you have imported your bank transactions or you have a direct feed with your bank and Xero, it's now time to categorize all of those transactions that you have brought in through your banking system. Whether you are going to match that transaction, create the transaction, or create a transfer. Those are our three options in this screen. And as you can see on screen, there is a section at the top that has a little demo on how to do this. So if you're new in Xero, this is going to appear for you. You can always watch that video and understand more deeply how the bank reconciliation works. But you're also watching this video, which is going to walk through basically the same thing with my personality and my tips and tricks. So I'm going to go ahead and close that little notification out because we don't really need that right now. Up at the top here, this bank account I have actually imported from a CSV file. So this is the alert that I got after the import that we added 62 statement lines and 0 were duplicates. So I already know about that message. You can exit out or leave it there. I'm going to go ahead and close it out. Now I'm going to walk you through each section of the screen so you understand what everything is. Up at the top, we have our statement balance. If you have a bank feed, this is going to bring in whatever the bank is actually showing as their balance right now, real time. And this balance in Xero, right now, for this particular account, it shows 0 because we imported everything and we haven't categorized or matched or anything, any transactions. So right now, the balance in Xero is 0, meaning none of the transactions are coded, none of them are going to show up on our balance sheet or our P&L. So this is a very crucial step in making sure every transaction is recorded. We're right now on the Reconcile tab. What we're doing right now is a step in the reconciliation process, meaning we're making sure that every transaction that hit the bank is also going to be recorded in Xero, which is our bookkeeping system. On the left side, we have all of the transactions that we imported. This is our bank statement. And on the right side, we have this little message. It says, then match with your transactions in Xero. You have the option to match, create, or transfer, and then there's this discuss button. The match is going to search for any transactions you might have already recorded, whether that's a client invoice or a bill you've entered. All of those would show up here. This is a brand new Xero file, so we haven't recorded any of that type of stuff. We're solely going to be recording things from the bank statement. So we don't have any matches today. To close out of that, you just hit cancel. The next option is create. This is where we're going to be at for the most part today, between create and transfer. The create is where you're going to just add that bank transaction to your books on the fly. So we have a who, a what, and a why. Our who is the vendor or the contact. And like I said, this is a brand new Xero file, so we're going to be entering vendors as we go. So if you're brand new in your Xero file, this is what you would be doing as well. Once you enter the contact, the who, once, you shouldn't have to enter them again. And in fact, Xero is going to remember them as long as your bank feed or your bank import looks the same each month. So for this one, our contact is Google. And then the what, it looks like it's for G Suite or Google Workspace. So we're going to put this as software. And when you start typing in where you want to code it, it should pull up an account code, what we call a GL account, a general ledger account. And if it doesn't pull up what you're typing out, maybe reword it, look for something different. And if the category doesn't exist, then we want to create it. So unfortunately, we cannot create general ledger accounts from this screen. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to leave a note in the discuss, and I'm going to say software. So we're going to come back to this after we've coded everything else and added that account, and then we'll come back and add all the software expenses. So I'm going to save that. So now we have a note. This is also really effective for if you have a team and you have someone else doing this process for you and they're not sure how to code things, they can leave a note here or ask you a question here and say, hey, can you log into Xero and let me know what all of these additional transactions are for? So then we're going to go on to the next one. This is Dubsado. Again, it's software, so we're going to skip that. This one looks like JG Brand Services. So if we click on more details, we might see some more information that we might need. So I'm going to call this JG Brand Services, and you can tab and it will create a new contact, or you can click that new contact button. And what it's for, let's see, we don't have a marketing, we have advertising. So I'm going to put it there for now. We can always rename that account later if we don't want to make everything an advertising expense, if you want to break things out further. And then we're just going to click OK. And that bank transaction is now recorded on our books. The next one is Brightline. And I'm assuming this is probably a communications company like internet. So again, there's no category already in the default chart of accounts that I like for this. I want to put this in telecommunication or internet or something along those lines. So I'm going to leave a note for discuss. So I'm going to put internet there. And now as we go on down the line, like I said, this is a brand new Xero file. This is a new client. So there's some things that have question marks that we're going to have to research. Like for instance, this transaction, I'm not really sure what that is. So I'm going to Google it. And it looks like it's an HR solution for HR compliance. Again, it looks like a sort of software. For this particular business, it's an HR professional business. And so I'm going to paste in that vendor name, and I'm going to code this as dues and subscriptions. Now here we have our first transfer transaction, and this is money coming in from Stripe. And what this indicates for me is that this client has a Stripe account that needs to be connected because we haven't connected that as a bank account. If you have Stripe or PayPal, you want to make sure you're connecting those payment processors as a bank account in Xero. So this one I'm going to come back to, but once we connect the bank account in Xero, the Stripe account, then we're just going to end up booking that as a transfer, and we'll have Stripe as an option to create that transfer. So I'm going to leave myself a note to connect Stripe. Now we have an owner's draw account transaction. So for this one, you would put in your name if you're the owner, the who is going to be your name, the what is going to be owner's draw, and you can leave a note under the why if you'd like, but I'm just going to leave it blank for our purposes here. Then we have some more Stripe transfers, and then we have interest that the client is receiving from the bank. So for this, we're going to use the bank name as a contact, and the what is going to be other income, or if you can create an interest income account, that's probably preferable. So we're going to just say that's for interest and click OK. We have more software, and so on and so forth. Now down here, we've come up to a restaurant. So for restaurants, you're going to add them as a contact, and the category is going to be meals and entertainment. This is another category that I'm going to go back and rename in the chart of accounts because entertainment is not deductible and we want to strip that out separately. Meals are deductible. So I'll create a new account for entertainment and keep all the meals in here and just rename this account. So I'm going to click OK on this. And as you see, when we keep going, when it recognizes previous transactions, it's going to remember where we previously coded it. So it makes the process go a lot faster. The other thing that you can do is create a bank rule just in case things come in a little bit differently and you don't want to rely on that machine learning. You can create bank rules around some of these things. So this is a spend money rule because it's money going out. You can choose all conditions or any conditions. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose all conditions. I'm going to keep that description there. And actually, I'm going to choose any conditions just in case when this gets imported next time, maybe fields are selected, mapping is selected differently. That way it'll pick it up whether it looks like this or like that. And then the existing contact, you pull that up, and then you can allocate each line by amount or you can just do the whole entire thing to one account, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to code it to dues and subscription, 100% of the amount. And the reference, we're going to just set during the bank reconciliation. You can leave that as a default. You can choose to run this same rule across all your bank accounts if you want, just in case you decide to pay for something on a credit card one month and on your checking account another month. And the way that I like to name the rule is by the vendor and then where we're coding it. That way, if things change on how we want to code things, we can see it in the rule when we're reconciling the bank account and know, oh wait, I need to change that rule because I don't want to code it there anymore. So we're going to hit save. And you can do similar rules for receive monies, which is a deposit, and for transfers. So now when we go through our bank reconciliation, we can see that it's recognizing we've created a rule for this. So it's going to apply that rule, and here we can see how we have it named. So as we're looking at this, we can see, oh, we're coding it to dues and subscriptions. So if you ever need to change that rule of where things are coded, make sure you change the name of the coding as well. And we're just going to click OK on that. So that is how you reconcile the transactions in your bank feed. If you have a lot of transactions that are very similar and you want to be able to create them all at once, especially for a project like this where we're catching up an entire year or 6 months worth of bookkeeping, then you want to use the cache coding feature. And that's to the right of our Reconcile tab right here on our screen. So if you click cache coding, it will pull up a more condensed view of what the bank statement looks like. And as you can see, we have our little notes icon for some of the things that we want to code elsewhere. And so we're going to ignore those. You can actually sort it by payee, and that's probably the most efficient way to do this. Instead of going through months and months and months of the same transactions over and over, we can actually just code them all at once. And so I'm going to do the interest for now. So we're going to check off all of those. Another really fast way to check items is to check the first one in the row, click the shift button, and then click on the last one of those transactions. And then whatever you do to one, it's going to apply that change to all of them that are selected. So our payee is actually Grasshopper. So we're changing that. And as you can see, when you hit tab, it's going to change all of those. We're going to leave the description, and the account, we had chosen other income before, so we're going to choose that again. And as far as tax rates go, you can, in general, leave everything as tax exempt if you're in the US, because that doesn't really apply here. So we're going to save and reconcile those that are selected, and it'll show you 6 were saved and reconciled successfully. So you can go through this whole transaction listing and knock out months worth of transactions if you're behind with this feature called cache coding. After this, you have one more step before you've completely reconciled your accounts, and that is to verify your bank statement with what's in Xero. If it's ready, you can click on the next video to watch and learn that process. If you want to see how to add or modify your chart of accounts or categories, you can click on the other video if it's ready as well. As always, links to work with me are below this video, and say hello in the comments.